Alright, guys, so this is my review of Darth Vader The Burning Seas, which is the third volume in the Charles Scholl Darth Vader run. Like I said before, it might be a little difficult for me to get the fourth and final volume, Fortress Vader, because of, some economic problems that have arisen in my life. But yeah, it's definite down the road just so I can complete the series. So, let's get into it. Let's get into the third volume. Now, this comic is pretty much the Mon Cala War, as well as a one-and-done issue involving Tarkin, and collects the second annual, which was, I think, yeah, it's more or less a kind of like a prequel to Rogue One, but also acts, but I think it came out like a few months after Rogue One, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so this comic is interesting in that it does a bit of a time skip. This volume we've now fast forward a year into the Empire's reign, and now the Empire has discovered that Mon Cala wants to secede from the Empire, and Vader and Tarkin are sent there to shut that shit down. Now, Vader and the Inquisitors are implored by the Emperor to essentially look for rumors of a Jedi or several Jedis that are on Mon Cala. So, yeah, it's, here's where I have a problem with this book. Most of you guys don't know this, but Tarkin is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. I always get a little excited when Tarkin shows up in here. And it's kind of obvious that this dude Charles Scholl is not the best Tarkin writer. He is in no way good at writing this character. Because he makes him just a little too out of character several times, and clearly does not get the relationship of Vader and Tarkin as well. So, here's the problem. Anyway, so let's get into it right now with Tarkin. So Tarkin in this comic, is a little too bloodthirsty. I mean, he gets the military stuff down very well. He gets the military stuff perfect with Tarkin, as well as I have a feeling that Charles Scholl probably read a lot of military strategy books, or at least had someone in the military who told him stuff like this, because there are some straight up moves that the Empire has to do, because they're like, yeah, Mon Cala is literally a planet, a water planet, and we only have so many scuba troopers, so the fuck are we going to do? So I'm glad he addresses that it's not, the Empire just can't use land weapons to fight the Mon Cala and the Quarrens. But yeah, with Tarkin, there's a moment in here where he's this security bureau officer, intelligence intelligence officer from the Imperial Security Bureau, essentially has a moment where he's like, you know what, you failed me twice, I'm going to force you into a stormtrooper armor, and you're going to go out in the front lines. Bye. And I'm like, okay, there is no way that Tarkin would fucking do that, because, yeah, Tarkin would, be disappointed in him after being failed twice, but the most he would probably do is just, bury the guy politically and business-wise to the point where he would just want to kill himself and find somebody better and more equipped. So, yeah, there's also some moments in here that really made me go, wow, so I guess James Luceno can go fuck himself then. Because, for those who remember, the James Luceno Star Wars Tarkin novel is in continuity with with Disney's Star Wars. It's not EU, it is considered canon. And there's a moment in here with this, there's an issue after this storyline where Vader essentially is like, look, I'm running out of people to kill, and I'm afraid there may be no one who's a challenge for me. Tarkin, can you try to kill me? I need to know if someone out there can beat me. So it's like evil Superman versus evil Batman, in a way. And it's not a bad issue, but he's like, I guess, and because there's one moment in here that made me go, oh, fuck's sake, could you have not just at least referenced the novel? Because they basically, Tarkin says, Vader must have heard about my life on Ariadu, his homeworld, and heard about my time as a hunter, because that is in continuity that Tarkin, when he was growing up, he was raised by his great uncle, who trained him to be like a hunter and use his mind more. So yeah, that was really cool. And Vader knows this because the Tarkin novel, Tarkin explains it to Vader, and Vader was like very curious about it, and he told Vader all about this. So I was like, when I saw that little line of, "Oh, I don't know how Vader knew, but he must have known about me as a hunter on Ariadu," and I'm like, you fucking told him. I guess James Luceno can go fuck himself then. Thanks, Shoal. So that was unhelpful. And it didn't help with also the annual, the Star Wars annual that was written by Chuck Wendig. So I won't give Shoal shit for that. In that one, Tarkin and Vader are treated as enemies, and I'm like, okay, you guys clearly don't know how to write Vader and Tarkin. They're not like friends, but they have respect for one another. Like there's I don't get the sense of Tarkin going, "Oh, the Jedi are all but gone. You are all that remains, my friend." There's no mutual respect among these comics, and it also, like, again, Chuck Wendig, by the way, because the art in that annual is ass. That artwork is straight up ass in that book, in that issue, in that annual. So that kind of hurt it for me. So that, also, it's that, if you're wondering what the annual is all about, the annual is pretty much Vader being forced by Tarkin to look for saboteurs who are trying to take out the Project Stardust, the creation of the Death Star. And it goes back to Geonosis, and it actually reveals the whole genocide of the Geonosians that we deal with in the new continuity. So yeah, it's not handled well, but it shows it. But getting back to the main crux of the story, I do like how Shoal literally knows that the Empire is not equipped to fighting the Mon Cala, and I like how we bring in Akbar and Raddus, and how they actually go into detail of their battle strategies, other than they keep saying, "Oh, Akbar and Raddus are like great military commanders," and we don't get to see it. In here, they actually show Raddus and Akbar being excellent military commanders. So I was like, okay, thank you, Shoal, for doing what most writers in comics and books and even movies don't do, is fucking show us that they are good military commanders by pulling off these great moves, or even, mentioning these great moves. So I will give points to Shoal for that. The Jedi stuff with Farron Barr, the Padawan, and his other little students are interesting. You don't get a lot with them, other than it gets really depressing that we get after they get killed off by Vader and the Inquisitors, we get this little one-page backstory with them, and it's kind of like, oh well, all right, I didn't need this is just kind of like extra space I didn't need, but whatever. I guess you're trying to go for emotional stuff, but all right, okay. So that was a thing. Also, the other Inquisitors, like Ninth Sister and Sixth Brother, are, they're just there. They're just there to look cool and just be there. What can I say about the Inquisitors? They're just there. They are just there. But I also like how Vader in here is also using his own, military command. He is very much like, I'm no longer a general, I am now the voice of the Empire, essentially. I'm the voice of the Emperor, and I'm going to do my damnedest to command these troops and put them in line. So I really like that about Vader, and how, Shoal shows that with Vader. He's still resourceful. Especially, there's several moments in here that made me go, wow. I mean, like, that was a little bullshit, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, that makes sense for Vader, and how Vader utilizes his abilities against certain, objects, especially underwater. Yeah, this comic is alright. It does, showcase the Mon Cala and the Quarrens, as well as there's some great moments in here that reference all the way back to the Clone Wars animated series. Not the Tarkovsky one, the Dave Filoni one. Which that Mon Cala arc is actually pretty good, so I'm actually glad they directly reference those stories in here. I'm actually pretty glad they bring up those stories several times in this story, in this comic, and also from Vader's perspective. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like I said, aside from the Tarkin stuff, that just felt like, okay, I can see Tag or Monte or or, what's Nita, or, Nita, or someone else doing that, but not doing some of the ruthless shit in here, but not Tarkin. Like, Tarkin wouldn't do that to somebody. It just felt kind of weird. Now, if it was like Tag in charge of this and doing that stormtrooper thing, because that really irked me, and some other things between Tarkin and Vader in here, just kind of irked me because of just how much I love that character of Tarkin. He's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So yeah, I was a little irked by that throughout this comic. Other than that, this is a pretty solid war story. I think I actually like this a little more than the Shutoran War in the Karen Gillan run. To be fair, though, that's kind of the weak point of the comic, but it's still, like, on a whole, the Karen Gillan run is still, like, far superior to this so far. But like I said, I will leave my full judgment on the Shoal run until I read Fortress Vader, which, like I said, won't be for a while until I find that book, so yeah, just bear with me on that. But anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think if you read it? What did you think of Darth Vader, The Burning Seas? Did you guys like it, hate it? What did you guys think of the continuity errors with Tarkin, as well as how they morph his relationship with Vader a little bit? And also, did you guys like this story on a whole? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm out.